Today we'll see how the marketplace vendors will be able to create multiple sub accounts for themselves along with selecting the various allowed account options for the sub account users. Now these account option permissions help the vendors to divide the roles and responsibilities with the created sub account users. And for example, a vendor might add a user to view the orders and can add products only, while the other can only manage the seller profile as required. So I'll just take you through the workflow of this particular plugin. That's the OpenCart multi-vendor marketplace sub account plugin, and I'll be showing you the workflow at the seller's end, and thereafter we'll check how the admin would be able to set this particular plugin initially from the admin backend panel and the different configuration settings that are there for this plugin. So here you can see that I've already logged into my marketplace vendor account, and after the successful installation and after setting up the layout, the marketplace vendors will find the manage subseller account option here, as you can see, and tapping that up brings up the sub account list. So initially this would be a empty list, so you'll have to create your sub accounts, and then you'll be able to find the name, email, contact number, the access permission for each of the sub accounts that you have created, the status for each. So you can edit any of the created sub accounts by tapping on the edit link. To add a new one, you can tap here on the add button. To delete any respective one, you need to choose that up and tap a delete. You can delete the sub accounts in bulk as well by choosing them up and tapping on the delete button thereafter. So first of all, let's see how the marketplace vendors would be able to create a sub account. So for that, you'll have to tap here on the add button. Now the email address that you'll use here, on that particular email address, the subsellers would receive their what we say as the password for logging in. So first of all, let's see how to create a subseller. So here I'm on the subseller personal details, so I'll be filling in the details here first. So I've entered the first name, the last name, the email on which the sub account user would get the credentials, the telephone number. Now under the permissions, I'll be choosing the permission that would be available for this particular sub account user. So for example, I'll just set the order history and the product list, and I just want to provide these two permissions to this particular sub account user, so I've selected those two. Then we'll have to set the subseller address. I've entered that already, and the password for his account. And here you'll have to make the status as active or inactive. For now, we'll make it as active. Lastly, you'll have to agree to the terms and conditions, or you can check the privacy policy and tap then on the continue button. Now tapping the continue button would create this sub account user with the two permission, that is the order history and the a product list. And after creation, the sub user would be listed here under the sub account list, as you can see. And here under the access permissions, you can see that we just provide the access for the order history and the product list, and the status right now for the same is active. If you want, you can edit it up by tapping here on the edit button, and then you can basically make changes as per your requirement there. So you cannot change these, but you can select the permissions. If you want to add permission, add more of the permissions for this sub account user, then you can check that up, and then you can tap on the continue button to save the details. So you can't change the first name, last name, email, telephone, or the fax, but you can add the permissions or remove the already given permissions to this particular sub account user. So let's go back to the manage subsellers account. Now you can also delete any sub account by selecting and tapping here on the delete, and then tapping OK on the prompt, and that particular sub account user that you have created would be deleted, as you can see. Now let's get ahead and let's see how the sub account user receives the email. We'll see the email that he receives, and then we'll be logging into the sub account user. To log into the sub account user, we'll have to make use of the email address and the password. So what I'll do is I'll just log out of the seller account, and I'll just show you the email first, and then we'll proceed further to log in into the sub account user's account there. So I'll just tap here on the login button and we'll be here. And let's first log into the sub account user, and I'll just tap here on the login button. So now you can see that I've logged into the sub account users account, and here you can see that this is my customer account panel and this is the seller panel, and we had only provided the order history and the product list permission to this particular sub account user, so only those two permissions are here. So if I go to the product list, I can access the product list and we'll be able to check the products that are here, and the same goes for the order history. I can check the order history as well. So here's the order history for the same. So that's how easily the marketplace vendors can create their sub account users and can divide their role and responsibilities to them, and they can provide the different permissions for each sub account user, and according to those permissions, only those accessible permissions would be there for the sub account users. Now let me show you the email that the sub account user gets after the seller or the main seller has created his account. So this is the mail that the customer or the sub account user receives after the main seller has created his sub seller account, and here you can see there's the password as well. So the sub seller just needs to enter his email address and this particular password so as to log into his account, as I've already shown you. Now let's hop onto the admin backend panel and let's see what different configuration settings are there that need to be done by the admin before making use of the plugin itself within the marketplace store. And also kindly note that this particular plugin is an add-on to the Webkul's multi-vendor marketplace there, so you'll have to have that first and then you can make use of this particular plugin. Also kindly do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to receive the latest updates from our end, and if you find this particular video helpful then kindly do give it a thumbs up. So now let's hop on to the admin backend panel. So I'll be logging into the admin backend panel now. So I've logged into the admin backend panel. To make the initial configuration settings, the admin needs to navigate through extensions. Here he'll have to choose modules, and under that he'll have to go to the marketplace subseller, tap edit on the edit button there, and here are the different configuration settings that need to be done before making use of the plugin there. So here you'll enable this particular functionality by choosing enabled option. Then you'll choose the store for which you want to have this subseller functionality. Right now we have this particular store, so I'll be choosing that. Then we have the limit. So here the admin can set the limit of the subsellers that a particular vendor can create. So if I set it as 4, then if I'm a seller, I'll only be able to add 4 sub seller accounts under my own account. Then we have the mail. Now here you'll have to select the mail template that will be sent out to the subseller whenever they will be added as a subseller by any seller. So I've already shown you that. Then coming down we have the permissions. Now these are the main permissions. So or here you need to choose the permissions that you want to give to the seller that can then be assigned to the subsellers. So initially if you want to provide these permissions here, these would be available to the marketplace vendor. Then whenever he wants to create the sub account users, he can make use of these account options, and from here, these ones he can provide the different permissions to those sub account users. And lastly you'll have to just tap here on the save button to save this particular configuration settings. So yes, that was much about the plugin. That's the OpenCart multi-vendor marketplace sub account plugin there, and I hope it helped you out in understanding the flow of the same. If you still have any questions, queries, suggestions or requirements, then kindly do reach back to us at support@webkul.com, raise a ticket at webkul.uvidesk.com. Apart from that, if you find this particular video helpful, then kindly do give it a thumbs up. And lastly, thanks for watching this video and have a great day.